Yo, what is up, guys? It's Pedro here. So the Washington Commanders signed another player, and this time it is free agent defensive tackle Abdullah Anderson. So I'll talk about him, what this signing necessarily means in terms of Phidarian Mathis and John Ridgway's health, and we'll go over his, career so far. So if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe for Washington and NFL content on the road to 11,000 subscribers. Also hit that like button and the notification bell as well. Okay, so today the Washington Commanders signed Falcons free agent defensive tackle Abdullah Anderson. I'm assuming it's to a 1-year deal and veteran minimum, or it's not going to cost a lot of money. It is not going to cost a lot of money. It's, in my opinion, somewhat of a camp body with an outside shot of getting that last defensive lineman spot. He's not going to be a super impact player, but who knows? Could make the roster and maybe play a few games. And you look at the Commanders. Well, first off, let's talk about who Abdullah Anderson is. So obviously played for the Falcons, and in 2022 played in 16 games, started 8 of them. Had, I guess he batted down 1 pass. He had 1 sack, 40 tackles, and 1 QB hit, 2 tackles for loss. So nothing that pops out to you, but starting 8 games is significant. Means he was a borderline starter, but to be fair, that Falcons D-line and Falcons defense in general, not amazing, especially that D-line, but looks like he was okay in the run game. You look at, I had a PFF page of him open, but he had about like a 62 grade, which is not bad at all, but again, got to take PFF with a grain of salt. I'm just trying to see if they have any advanced stats. No, nothing. Nothing too much to this signing, guys. He is going to be a camp body, and I like that this gives me the chance to talk about, the defensive line group as a whole and Phidarian Mathis and Ridgway. So I agree with Ben here that, those 9 that he has listed, Chase Young, Montez Sweat, James Smith-Williams, Casey Toohill, Efe Obada, Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, Phidarian Mathis, and John Ridgway, I think those guys will make it. There's a couple that's like, okay, if someone shows out, maybe they won't, like Casey Toohill. Yeah, probably Casey Toohill, and that's probably it. Maybe you could say James Smith-Williams and Obada, but I feel like they're pretty safe unless they draft someone early. And on the outside looking in, you have Tony, William Bradley King, Patoe, whatever his name is. I think he played in the last game and got a sack. David Bada, and now Abdullah Anderson. One of those guys makes the last. Yeah, one of those guys gets that last roster spot if they decide to keep another one. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 DNs, so it could be a D tackle or it could be someone that's a little bit versatile. And, it might be a DN because, like, you look at this, James Smith-Williams plays both, and he can play both. Same thing with Obada. He's better on the edge but can play both. So they might get someone like Shagatoni to make it, or could be Abdullah Anderson. That's kind of the situation there. And people are asking, like, oh, are they making this signing because Phidarian Mathis is hurt and he might not come back? I don't think so. Phidarian Mathis had a torn meniscus the first quarter of the season. I believe it was the first or second defensive possession. So he is not, going to be out for the start of the season unless there's some complication. Because usually a torn meniscus, sometimes, depending on how the surgery is done, you can be back in like 8 to 10 weeks. So it's already been way more than that. It's been like, maybe 5 months? No, 6 months. It's been 6 months since the injury. So he should be good to go. He should be good to go for like the start of OTAs, honestly. Like, they might ease him back into it, but he'll be back, I believe, by OTAs. I posted a clip like maybe a week ago of him working out with Deron Payne and a Patriots D lineman, so I think he's going to be fine. And what's his name? John Ridgway, on the other hand, might be a little bit longer. I don't think there's a chance that he misses the start of the season, but I think it was a torn pec, and that happened right in the last game of the season, which is really, really unfortunate. So he might not be back for OTAs, but he'll be back for training camp, I believe. You go January to February, February to March. We've been around a little over 2 months since that injury. And get to April, that's another month. That's 3 months. And then you get to May when they start OTAs. That's 4 months. Maybe he'll be back by then. He'll be back by the start of the season, though, for sure. And I really, really like the John Ridgeway pickup. He was really solid for us. He made a couple boneheaded decisions, like the infraction against the Vikings that possibly cost us that game, the chance for Taylor Heineke and the offense to tie the game up for us. And he had that suplex against the Texans. I kind of like that, though. We were up by a lot, so it didn't matter too much. But still not a smart play. But I liked him. And Mathis, we'll see. Still don't like the pickup that much in the second round. I think there's other needs. He might end up being great, but you saw what they got in Ridgeway in the 5th. Or not even the 5th. They didn't draft him. They signed him because someone cut him. Like, you can find these rotational guys later on. We'll see. Mathis has a little bit more potential maybe than Ridgeway. But I think they could have used that pick on a linebacker or an offensive lineman. But it's revisionist history. We will see how Mathis does. And me saying this has nothing to do with Mathis's injury. That was just unlucky. I'm just talking about how Ridgeway played and how you could have maybe kept Settle and Ridgeway and your D-line would have been just as good. But maybe Mathis will be a star and I will be wrong. And I hope he is. And they'll have 3 stars at D-tackle. But I think he'll be a good player. And if he's a good player, the second round, that's a solid pick. So, yeah, I think that's it for today's video. Not a huge signing at all. I think there's probably like a 25% chance he makes it. I mean, he's going to have to make it over William Bradley King and, Shaka Toney and maybe even a draft pick. And, I mean, there's for sure going to be a draft pick / undrafted free agent that they sign or someone else that they sign before it starts. So, he's going to be competing with a few other guys. Don't know if he gets a chance, but, will compete for that spot and maybe he'll have a shot. So that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed and hope you guys are enjoying March Madness. Peace, guys.